Hello, hello world. The simplest way to understand what remote viewing is it's like astral projection, and yet it's with your phone or your TV, more or less. It's like the whole streamline of simultaneously you innately understanding things, and then yet when you have a reference to something that brings you to understanding something, yet it kind of tricks you. It kind of gets you to get a little mixed up in a little things. And so TV programming, it's programming. The person that made TV never would let their kids watch TV because it's not good. It's programming. And you have a remote, so you're remote viewing, yet that's just the kind of polar opposite of what actualized remote viewing is. It's like the same thing as you having to eat food or you eating food. You disempower yourself, in a sense, to have a story that you tell yourself, to live a life, to be here now, to eat food. The reason why food gives you energy is because it's empowering you upon that of what you're already able to do. To be powerful, to feel charged. Because what do you do after you eat food? You feel charged, right? I mean, depending on the food, sure, yeah. And other variables in it, yet the same thing with the whole remote viewing thing. When you watch a movie, it's a view window into a world. It's quite literally you're watching the world of that happen. Now, you potentially watch the same thing over again, yet you always will see it differently, because it will always be changing based on your interaction with it to you. And then you create from that. Then you understand from that remote viewing. It's so funny because I learn so much when I talk, and yet when I listen to hear, it's different. And it's life. And it has a message to share. And it wants you to know what the message is. Yet it wants to say it to you. So when you're ready, where you are, you will hear it. Because it's always about where you are. Where are you right now? You could be anywhere. Call it a place. Call it time. Call it your thoughts. Call it what you may. And yet, it is always where you are. And when you enjoy where you are, you live forever. And then when there's a moment when you feel like, what? Is that time? No, it can't. It's because you were in your enjoyment. And so you were doing your absolute self, your fullness of yourself. And yet, you're telling yourself a story. Okay? You're experiencing things, and you're part of a story. You're part of a means of how a story is being told and shaped and created. Because you are doing that, there is also a means to where you automatically get pulled back to a point to where you're interacting in that story, as that story of, well, what is time? It is universal GPS. When, where, and why, and how. Or, what are the other parts after that? So essentially, though, you have when and where. When is time? Where is you are? And how? It is totally up to you. Because you are powerful. You are power in its absolute form of yourness. Everyone has their ownness. Yet there's only oneness when it comes to interacting with the means of life, and you're able, upon that of what does life have in store when you're able, where your ness aligns to a degree to being in a frequency of vibratoralness that echoes upon moments that can come to life speaking through you, to you, because you're able. It's so something that life asks you to do things because you are the best suited to perfection in that endowment of what is your able. And only by being able will you see to believe that it is as below, as above, as above, as below. It's always as below because it has to start from you. It has to start from a base. It has to be because of you. You have to be wanting it. You have to ask for it. There is such a thing as semi-free will. And yet, when it comes to the moments of now and divine will, there is no choosing the dark side. There's no choosing the switch swaps of life in that manner, because that your innate natural place in life is not dark. It is light. Divine will is of the light. When you comprehend and conceive, conceptualize, actualize, perceptualize, third eye things, perceptionalize, the personalized, you wouldn't be hearing this unless you already are of it and you just needed to hear it. And yet, I'm just reflecting right now and understanding something more deeply of my fullness of how I am able to perceive an actualization and a realization, comprehension, compromising to that of actualizing, revolutionizing my own means to what I can be seen as here, now, and as a human, adding my little twist to what humanism can be here and now. What's where I am.